Good morning. I'm Drew Holley with BIS Benefits. I'm joined by my colleague Jesse Couch. He's on the commercial insurance side. Today we're going to talk about bonds, but not bonds in the form of stocks and bonds, bonds in the term of insurance, which for a lot of you guys listening, you may be thinking, there's bonds in insurance? Mm-hmm. So yes, there's different types of bonds. So here on my list, Jesse, we've got commercial bonds, contract bonds, performance bonds, payment bonds. Let's just go high level. What are they needed for?
Sure.
Who would need to do it? Is it every company out there?
Yep.
Give us a high level education.
So in the broadest sense, there's commercial bonds, and those are for like licenses or for tax purposes for a municipality. And then you have a contract bond, which is for a general contractor or a trade subcontractor that's building a structure of some sort.
Okay.
So any kind of business could need a commercial bond. Us as an insurance agent, we have to have bonds for our licenses and designations, stuff like that. It could be for a contractor.
Why do I need that bond? To protect against what?
Not paying a tax obligation to the state. So the state requires that you have a license bond. Just usually it's $50,000, something like that. So that way, if for some reason we go out of business, we owe money to the state, didn't pay some taxes for whatever reason, that gives them some recourse and protection.
But that's not every job out there. There's certain jobs that need that. So if you're a hairdresser, for instance, or you drive an Uber, you're not necessarily required to have a bond, right? It's
probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, but it can be a lot of different professional services.
Okay.
So there's mortgage brokers, since they're kind of touching money and that sort of thing.
Okay.
They have bond needs that they need just for their license, that sort of thing.
Got it. Lawyers, accountants.
Just a lot of professionals, they have different types of bonds just for their license. But at the end of the day, if you own a building, a lot of the utility companies will make you get a bond just to say, okay, if you don't pay your water bill or whatever, you have a $10,000 surety bond. And so you can either post cash or pay $300 to get a bond.
Okay, so these bonds that you might be required to buy are not necessarily $100,000, for the price of the premium.
Right.
Okay. Where are bigger prices of bonds? Like, is there a particular industry that you might see, more expensive for construction as opposed to a mortgage company?
Yeah, so in the world of construction, they need payment performance bonds, which are contract bonds. Basically, you're bonding that contract. You're guaranteeing that contract. So me as a general contractor, I'm building a new school. I have to put a bid bond in just so I can bid that expansion. Basically, I go to the bonding company, the bonding agent, which would be us. We pre-qualify them, kind of like when you're buying a house. They say, okay, how much are you pre-qualified to buy? And that
how much money you make, how much debt, how much obligations.
Yeah, so you're underwritten to say, okay, contractor, you can do $1 million school project, but that's it.
Okay.
And then if you're a really big contractor, they may say, you can do this $100 million school project.
Okay.
And that just separates, it protects the government from just getting waste of time bids, just since it's an open bid market, it just kind of pre-qualifies. So if you don't have a bid bond to submit with that bid, then they just throw out your bid and on to the next.
So it's kind of like, again, let's take it back to the personal lines. If you're buying a home, a lot of times you say, here's my offer to buy the home, and I'm pre-qualified to get a loan.
Yeah.
If you're a contractor listening to this and you want to get in the world of maybe building schools or buildings for schools or cities,
Public work,
you're going to want to have your bond already in place before you even make that bid. And depending on the job you want to do, your bond limits.
Yeah.
Not every commercial insurance agent does bonds. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's a special license or special skill set?
Yeah, it's just a different set of underwriting, even though it's done through the insurance companies that we work with, like a Travelers. It's just a different niche where it's like a financial underwriter. It's like someone who understands how to look at company financials, personal financials, has the relationship with a bond underwriter that has faith in the agent to say, yes, you should issue a bond for this contractor. So a lot of it's a very relationship-driven process, and so that's why having an agent who specializes in bonds brings a lot of value, just to advise you as the business owner and just how to navigate it. Here's the roadmap. If you want to get to that $1 million, $5 million per project bond amount, here's the roadmap and the next steps you need to do to get there.
Got it. And this is an important lesson for the audience that might be listening. to sell insurance in the state of Georgia and virtually every state in the United States, you have to get licensed. But if you're licensed, it doesn't mean you know necessarily what you're doing. And so a lot of business owners misinterpret, well, I have someone who can give me a quote, but when you're hiring an advisor, whether it's on the risk services, the commercial, the bonds, the EB, understanding that if these people don't have a niche of really an expertise in that particular field of the insurance. Like BIS does not sell long-term care insurance to individuals,
Right.
licensed in it. But we admittedly are not experts in that. There are a lot of companies I've seen over years, whether it's on the EB, the commercial, or bonds, that has an agent. But you could be really missing out on opportunities by not having an expert. Now, we can't compete if your broker's your brother-in-law or second cousin or next door neighbor. But if that's not the case, we can compete on expertise if your agent isn't an expert in that. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, bisbenefits.com. Thanks a lot for today's discussion, Jesse.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.